Touch that dial now, we're just getting started.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Save Crystal, the podcast all about video game nostalgia, memories, all kinds of stuff. And today it's going to be about ranking the Resident Evil games. Now, many of you know that Resident Evil is one of my all-time favorite franchises. So I thought with this time of the year, it's October, let's go ahead and rank these bad boys, okay? So we're on Tier Maker. So you can either listen to the audio version, which I'm going to try to paint the picture pretty good for you. That way you can know what I'm doing. If you want to watch the audio or the video version, you can head on over to my channel on YouTube. It's Save Crystal Gaming, where that video will be uploaded. But anyway, let's get started. I don't want to waste much time. I do want to say though, right here, this is all my opinion, okay? So if there's a game that, you know, you're like, oh man, no, that should be higher, that should be lower, make your own tier, okay? Just, like I said, don't attack me, please. This is my opinion, alright? So first thing I see here is we have an S tier. I'm just going to delete that, okay? So we're going A through F. Alright, sound good? Sounds good to me. So, let's start off with the top. Okay, there are two Resident Evil games that are my all-time favorite, okay? That being the original Resident Evil 3. So that's going up there in the A category, okay? And then the Resident Evil 1 remake. Nothing will probably get up there in that A category with those two, just because those two are my top. Alright? Let's see, how should I do this? Should I just go in order? Also, some of these games that are listed, I'm not going to be able to rank them, because some of them I haven't played. You know, like the handheld games. I'm just going to have to skip over them. I'm not going to be able to rank them. So, but we'll talk about it when we get there. So let's do that. Let's just start from the beginning. So here's Resident Evil 1. This game, honestly, you know, everyone has a Resident Evil 1 memory. Usually. Most gamers do. And what a game. What a game. However, the Resident Evil 1 remake is so much better. And it's one of those things where, since the remake came out, I don't touch the old game anymore. I just don't think it's aged well. But it's weird though, because the Resident Evil 2 remake and the Resident Evil 3 remake came out, and I can still go back to those games. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this in the C category. For now. It could move. Okay, I'll update it as we go along. And, you know, like I said, since some are only listening to the audio version, I will kind of give updates of where we are, what game is in what rank and stuff. So for now, the original Resident Evil goes in the C category. The original Resident Evil 2, I'm going to put in the B category. A lot of people put that up in their top. I think it's a good game, but I've always just kind of had more of a tie to 3. You know, and like I said, this podcast is all about nostalgia. It's what I like to run on, and that's why Resident Evil 3 is up top there for me. Okay. Let's see. Resident Evil 4. Okay. We'll touch the remakes here once we get through the original game. You know what I'm saying. Anyway. Resident Evil 4 was a game that I used to look at as the downfall of the series. And I used to be very critical of it, and it wasn't fair of me because I never played it. I could only see, you know, different like clips of the game and stuff like that and just think, this is where it went wrong. However, I'd say maybe about a month and a half ago, I actually sat down and played this entire game. And I was hooked the entire time. I still think that there was a part of this game that started the decline. But it still had there were a lot of times in that game it creeped me out. Those things that chant, I don't even know what you would call them, but they're sitting there chanting. It's creepy. They've got the black hoods on, and honestly though, I'm gonna go ahead and put that into the B category. And I can't believe that, because you asked me that 3 years ago. No, it's probably in the D category. But anyways, it's in the B. Okay. Resident Evil 5 is my least favorite Resident Evil. Yes, it follows original story. Yes, it has original characters. But I did not feel as if I was playing a Resident Evil game when I played this. I was very hyped when this game came out. I got it not on release day, but around it. And it does not feel like Resident Evil. It feels like a Gears of War knockoff. Can't help it. That's just how I feel about it. Sheva, a wasted character, never to be seen again. I mean, you could say the same for Carlos, too. I wish they would, bring Carlos back in somewhere. But anyway, I don't know. I never cared for it. I never did. So Resident Evil 5, it's not in the F category. It's going in the D category. It's not a terrible game. I just didn't care for it because I didn't feel like it's Resident Evil. Take the name off of it, name it something else, and I think it wouldn't be so bad. But anyway, where are we at? 6. Resident Evil 6. This game I did get on release, and I'm trying to think. There's Leon's story, Chris's story, and I cannot remember the other guy's name right now. Basically, what I'm saying, Leon's story was the only memorable one. It's the only one I cared for. And it wasn't bad. It was okay. I do like the moment where everybody kind of meets up in the game. The cutscene there. That's cool. But it's still not very good. And it goes in the D category as well. Okay, so it is a little better than 5, but not by much. Not enough to put it up into a C. So I gotta leave 5 and 6 down there in that D category. Resident Evil 7, the return to survival horror. I was so excited for this build-up, this launch, the Go Tell Aunt Rhodey song. I think I got on my wife's nerves listening to it. So excited. The dummy finger thing in the Resident Evil 7 demo. Everyone trying to figure out what the purpose of it was. Just the hype for this game was incredible. And it did not disappoint me, I'll be honest. Resident Evil was going in a different direction. I don't want to kind of give out any spoilers because it is fairly still a new game. It's still a new Resident Evil title. But I'm very happy with this game. So Resident Evil 7 goes into the B category for me as well. Definitely scary walking around the baker's house. Creepy. Okay. Oh man, I just forgot. Resident Evil 0. Resident Evil 0 belongs in here. So Resident Evil 0, it's a game that I tried to start multiple times. It's a game I began to play, and then eventually just kind of got, tired of. And then finally I said, you know what? No, I'm sitting down, I'm finishing this game. I know what the storyline was. I know that it ends at the mansion to kind of tie in when Rebecca gets to the mansion. Stuff like that. And I like that. I love the original Resident Evil storyline. That 1998 stuff. I love that. So, Resident Evil 0, though, for me, was kind of a pain. I think they were a little stingy with inventory. I did not like the fact of having to switch between characters. I didn't like that. I did not like that. This character's got to be carrying this. I don't know. I do like the Billy character. When you get to the end and Rebecca and Billy say goodbye, it's not a touching moment, but it's kind of like, that was the end of it because Billy doesn't come back either. Come on, Capcom. We got to get some of these people back in here somehow. But yeah, I don't know. It was not a game that I ever really truly cared for either. It's not bad. It's built with that Resident Evil 1 remake engine, but I'm gonna put it I'm going to put it in the C category, okay? It's better than 5 and 6 for sure, but it is what it is. I don't know. I don't have much to say about it, to be honest. I'm kind of lost for words. But, okay. The original Resident Evils have all been listed, okay? Except for Resident Evil, or also the original Resident Evil 1 Remake, because it's my favorite. So, for those listening, in case you're lost, let me catch you up, okay? So, in the A category is Resident Evil 3 Nemesis and Resident Evil Remake, okay? In the B category, Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 4, and Resident Evil 7. In the C category, the original Resident Evil 1 and Resident Evil 0. And then in the D category, Resident Evil 5 and Resident Evil 6. That is where we are, okay? So, let's go ahead and get into, like, Code Veronica and Resident Evil Survivor. Let me just take Resident Evil Survivor right now. Why it's in my mind, I'm seeing it right here, okay? This game's bad. Oh, Lord, this game's bad. And it's going to be the game that goes in the F category. No other game is going in this F category than Resident Evil Survivor. It looks bad. It's bad. I don't... It's not because it's in first person, because obviously I put Resident Evil 7 up pretty high. But it looks bad. It's bad, okay? Leaving that one alone. Resident Evil Code Veronica, another game that I kind of like... I don't have a lot of, nostalgia for, but I did play, and it's pretty good too. It's not bad, but I'm gonna put it in the C category. Okay, Resident Evil Code Veronica, follows the storyline events from, following Raccoon City as Claire is trying to find her brother Chris and stuff like that. So it needs a remake, I'll tell you that. It definitely does. It's another one that it ages okay. Not good, not bad, but it's okay. Okay. From there, let's go with the Resident Evil 2 remake. Another very good game. I got this game at midnight when it came home, played it, loved it. It's also got to go in that B category. It could very close jump into that A. Like, it's very close getting in the A category. Very close. But I think they mastered it. They really did. Mr. X honestly makes Nemesis look weak. Mr. X giving gamers anxiety everywhere, okay? Anyways, Resident Evil 3 Remake. A lot of people were disappointed with this game when it came out. And just because they said, it wasn't long enough. And okay, I can get that. But the original Resident Evil 3 Nemesis got the same kind of criticism because, Resident Evil 2 had two different stories to follow, Claire and Leon, where Resident Evil 3 didn't have that. Honestly, it's still a really good game. Really good game. Outstanding. The voice acting is incredible. The story is so good. I enjoyed every moment of this game. And now since I've played it, quite a bit, I can fly through it. But, sitting down to play it for the first time and actually taking time to explore and look around, it took a lot of time for me. Maybe it's just me, though. Whatever. But it goes in the B category as well. Okay. Let's go with the Revelations games, okay? So, Resident Evil Revelations follows Jill. And Jill is my favorite. She's my favorite Resident Evil character. However, this game has its jump scares, but I don't know. I'm going to move it into the D category with Resident Evil 5 and 6. I want to make this very clear. Resident Evil 6 and Revelations are now two games that join Resident Evil 5 in that D category. Resident Evil 5 is the bottom of that. Okay, they may be in the same category, but 6 and Revelations is above 5. Revelations, I've never beaten it. Never beat that game. I played through it. I got it again in a collection for the Switch, which I will probably try to go through it. Another game I lost interest in. Just not a fan of. Resident Evil 2 Revelations follows Barry. And I always liked Barry. Barry's a good Resident Evil character. I enjoyed it. And I think it's better than what I've played of Revelations. So I'm going to tell you what, I'll put Resident Evil Revelations 2 in the C category. Okay? So now we're getting down to some of these games that I'm not very familiar with. Resident Evil Resistance, released alongside Resident Evil 3. And I have not played enough of it to know. I mean, I'm just not going to rank it. Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City. I don't have much to say about it, to be honest. I did play through it back on the Xbox 360. Let's put it in the D category. I mean, yes, it's Resident Evil, but too much action. I don't know how else to put it. Too much action there. Okay, we're getting close here. So, I've never played Resident Evil Gaiden, whichever way you prefer to say it. The Outbreak games, I've played them, but not enough. You know what I mean? And it's been so long ago. Those games are on my list. I have them both, and I definitely need to check them out. But from what I have played of them, I would say... No, I can't. I can't rank them. It's just not fair for me to rank them because I can't put them, too low, and they're really good games. I need to play through them. Okay. Now, Resident Evil: The Umbrella Chronicles. I believe these are Wii games, and I need to see actually. Resident Evil: Umbrella Chronicles. They're kind of like arcade shooters. And I'm trying to figure out... because there's another one here. The Dark Side Chronicles, is that what that one's called? Okay. So, yes, you go through the original games. Playing like Resident Evil 0, and then you go into the original Resident Evil 2 and 3, and basically just it's a fun like arcade style shooter for Resident Evil games, kind of recapping the story. So I would put this one in the C category. It's in the C category for a different reason, because it's a different style game. It's very similar to Resident Evil Survivor, but not nearly like Resident Evil Survivor. But the other one here, what is this? The Dark Side Chronicles? Is that what that's called? Yes. Okay. I have also played... Let me see what the difference here is, though. Okay. Also, this also came out for PS3. I did not know that. Like I said, I have it for Wii. And this looks like... I'm trying to see. Does this pick up... Oh, okay. This one retells the events of 2 Code Veronica. Okay. So... I like that it's the shooter retelling the stories and stuff like that. For some reason, I actually thought Umbrella Chronicles told 1, 2, and 3, and then the Dark Side Chronicles told the other ones. But anyway, I'm also going to put it up here in the C category. They're fun games for for the style of game that they are. Don't be looking for like a good story-based game out of them, because that's not what they are. Okay, I believe that's really all that I can actually grade, because the other ones down here, like Resident Evil, the Mercenaries, 3D, is that what that is? Can't really see because it's so, but it's a Nintendo 3DS game. I don't know. I've never been a fan of handhelds. This Resident Evil game right here for the DS, what is the actual title of this? Basically, it's like a remake of the original game. There are some differences. Resident Evil. Here we go. This game is titled Resident Evil Deadly Silence. Okay, so basically it retells the story of the first game, and it's basically the first game. There are some differences to it. I have, played a little bit of it. A little bit, I feel like maybe I could rank this one. But I'm not going to, because it's not fair. Alright? Not going to do it. So here is my final list for the Resident Evil games, ranking them. We'll start from the bottom this time and go up to my favorite. So down in the very bottom column, in column F, is Resident Evil Survivor. Up into category D, Resident Evil 5, then Resident Evil 6, Revelations, Operation Raccoon City. From there, we've got category C with the original Resident Evil 1, Resident Evil 0, Code Veronica, Revelations 2, The Umbrella, and Dark Side Chronicles. Up into the B category, the original Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil 2 Remake, and Resident Evil 3 Remake. And then up top, in my A category, my favorite Resident Evil games, Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, and the Resident Evil 1 Remake. So, there it is. Like I said, we're going to be doing more of these, because I just kind of like talking about why I want to put these in certain categories and stuff, and I figured, you know what, it's around October, maybe we'll do, different horror games. Maybe like, because we did that one time, like a March Madness style bracket of horror games, and we saw how different you guys voted compared to where I thought, these different games should go. So maybe we'll do something like that here before the end of the month. Maybe a Halloween release or something like that. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode. I want to thank you all so much for checking out the Save Crystal podcast. Full of nostalgia here. It's what we like to talk about. Sometimes I'll bring some buddies on. Most of the time I roll solo. Just telling stories from my childhood or whatever, talking about pickups I get. Who knows? It could be gaming news. It can be old subjects of different video games, different consoles. You never know. But there is a whole list to check out of episodes where I talk about, Tomb Raider, where I talk about Ben Drown. I actually tell them that was a very, very highly rated episode, and a lot of people were asking for it. I really didn't think that there was anything there for it until I done it, and I was like, okay, well, people really wanted that, so glad that I done it. But I talk about the death of Sega, the original Xbox, the mystery of Chris Houlihan, whatever, I don't know how you say it, but the Super Mario NES trilogy, Friday the 13th the game, all kinds of stuff, guys. 25 years of PlayStation, it's all there. It's all there. Where I used to have the podcast titled The Primetime Podcast. It made a recent change, and it is now Save Crystal. So you can find the Save Crystal podcast. Just type in Save Crystal. You can find it on Google Podcasts, Spotify, Radio Public, all these different Anchor.fm. Check them out. Like they're like, the podcast for me is a place where I can just kind of tell some stories that are in my mind. I ramble on, and God bless every one of you who like to listen. But anyway, check me out on YouTube, Save Crystal Gaming. I will do walkthroughs, I'll do live streams here and there. Just check me out. Recent video that I just uploaded was a Madden simulation from the 2000 season where I took the old 2000 roster in one of the current Maddens and saw, how Madden would see these rosters and if they could predict the same thing, how the actual NFL season went. But alright, I'm done rambling on. Thank you guys so much for listening or watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.